I want to introduce Will Doherty right now. How Benjamin Franklin personifies the American dream. America is the culmination of Western heritage. The pursuit of happiness is the goal. The success of Benjamin Franklin personifies how the American ideal of freedom, individual effort, and moral responsibility can lead to happiness. Oops, that one didn't count. Will Doherty. Will?
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. In reflecting on the theme for this meeting, which I actually thought was American success stories, my mind started spinning, and I was instantly excited to think about the founders. I mean, success story, one after the other, founder after founder. But it just didn't seem right. It didn't seem complete yet. And then I started thinking about the wealth builders in America. Carnegie, Rockefeller, the wealth, the businesses, all the jobs they've created. That's America as well. But there was something missing there as well. As my mind continued to reflect, I started more to wonder about the makeup of America, and my success story became more clear. How could Benjamin Franklin leave Boston? How could he leave Boston? How could Benjamin Franklin leave Boston, go to Philadelphia, arrive broke, and then a mere 67 years later have the largest assembly ever for his funeral? I am proposing to you this morning that the success of Mr. Franklin is a beautiful American story. It is a tale that defied the previous 3,700 years of Western heritage. It is a tale of the son of a candle maker who was able to retire and pursue his own happiness. Allow me to begin to tell this story by first laying the government framework that was necessary, and then follow that by Mr. Franklin's own individual life's efforts, and conclude with the understanding that the pursuit of happiness has a moral responsibility. The framework provided by the American principles of individual liberty and self-government were very strong in the 1720s. These pathways were pathways to freedom. Prior to this, your path was laid out by what you were born into. If you were born wealthy, you had a path of wealth, and you could retire and pursue your happiness. America laid out a very different path. This path allowed each citizen to acquire property. While walking down that path, you could build upon that property and create wealth. Notice I said create. Wealth creation is a choice, and it took individual effort. Also, while on this path of wealth creation, each citizen had the right to their own conscience. And there was just one simple caveat on that right. Those beliefs could not prompt the person to harm any other. This was the fundamental framework that Mr. Franklin found himself in, and without it, the rest of his story could not be true. Mr. Franklin walked these paths tirelessly. He always had multiple irons in the fire. Some of his endeavors were for wealth, and some were for the good of society. One endeavor for the good was a club of mutual improvement that he named the Junto. This club required its members quarterly writings on morals, politics, and natural philosophy. They would meet weekly and openly debate ideas on philosophy. At one point, the Junto had determined that a library was needed in Philadelphia. So what did they do? They decided to write London and get a grant. They decided to tax everybody because it's good for them. No. They went out, found private investment money, built a library that everybody could use. The Franklin stove was invented, and it solved a dangerous issue of businesses and residences catching fire. So what did Mr. Franklin do? He ran right down, filed a patent, became rich and famous. No. He let anyone manufacture and sell his idea. He had a sense that what was good for society was indeed good for him as well. So this wealth that Mr. Franklin created was a mean to his ultimate happiness. But what he started at a young age to develop is what solidified his happiness. At the age of 20, Benjamin Franklin realized he was not born virtuous. He created a system to live a virtuous life. He decided to keep a daily journal to track his activities. He decided on 13 virtues that he would break out into 4 segments over the year, and every week he would concentrate on a virtue. And he would open his journal, he'd make a little hash mark if he violated that virtue. Week 1 was the virtue of temperance. On week 2, temperance and silence. On week 3, it was temperance, silence, and order, and so on and so on. At week 14, he would reset and start over. This journal was needed for a few years, and then Mr. Franklin realized he'd go a whole year with very few marks. This individual effort for moral responsibility cannot be dictated to a human being. Benjamin Franklin personified American success by understanding and practicing moral responsibility for the common good. So pathways to American success are in front of us now. Any one of us could stand in those same exact shoes and walk down that pathway. As John Winthrop stated, we shall be considered a city upon a hill. And as Benjamin Franklin stated, it would be a republic if we could keep it. Madam Toastmaster.